Awesome. Yes. Anyway, okay. Yeah. Welcome to the final culmination of all your guys' hard work in over the last quarter. So just first of all, like a shout out to our three awesome TAs who are who had helped out. Yeah. And just a quick administrative piece is the due by Monday is any last commits and your README updates to your repo. We're going to do our final clone at that point, and then you just need to do a one-page course feedback about what you learned, and then what can be improved. And that's not a per team thing; that's a per individual thing. So make sure that you submit that, right? And yeah, and so we are this class, we have some guests in the audience as well as online. This class has a really different structure than many other classes at Stanford. I think it's very unique, kind of like experiential education, right? It's like kind of learning by doing. Many of you, I mean, like the general structure, it was in the very first, 2 weeks, in fact, like you not only formed up in teams, but you came up with project ideas. So it's quite rare to have courses where you come up with your own work. But I think that this aspect of this is really important because number one, it's much closer to the real world, and like your taste in problems or the type of problems that you work on actually turns out to be really important, for your career. So like learning how to do that, learning how to operate in a situation where you don't necessarily have something being assigned to you or some type of structure in a more unstructured way. Gives you a lot of flexibility, which it's a really different thing than operating in the course of a normal course, right?
Yeah. So one of the exciting things is that this is a lot closer to what you will do in your professional life, and it's so important. The way you learn by hearing other people tell you about things, and then you figure out how it's relevant to what you want to do, is that style of learning is really much more impactful. You can pick up so much more when you realize, oh, what this presenter is telling me is completely relevant for my problem, and I can, so people tend to be able to move much faster with that kind of learning.
Yeah, and I mean, another big benefit though is that if you're picking your own problem, then you actually, you have a connection to it, and it makes you want to, work on it more, work on it in a deeper way. And I think we saw that across pretty much all the teams, like almost all the teams. Like you guys, I know that you guys had spent more than your, fair share of hours, like on this project. I know some of the teams have like really went all out and spent a lot of time on the project as well. And I think that's it's a testament to like all of you guys, but also the fact that like when you're kind of picking your own project, then that's the way it ends up, right? And then in the past we've had the goal here is like, yes, you can build a great project. At the very least this could be a great thing on your resume. You can put it on GitHub, you can on LinkedIn, things like that, and point to it as like a really substantial project that you've done. I point to. In the best case, like we actually had teams from last year that like they kept going with their projects. Some of them even formed companies like based on the project and teams that they had. So we're hopeful that like that we'll be able to that some of you guys will continue to be excited about it and continue to forward with the project as well.
And the other thing that shows is just the incredible variety of projects that people put together, and they're really different from the ones that were done last year. And the way people approach the problems is different from last year. So the space has moved so fast that the way you guys are solving problems is completely new and different from the way things were done just a year ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's really part of what we're bringing is, this space. It's not good enough to just sort of, read a couple papers and then build something. You just have to like keep learning the next thing that's happening and keep figuring out how to apply it. So
yeah, and it's also, I mean, I think it's an amazing opportunity as well, because to be honest, I don't think we could have taught this course, even 3, 4, 5 years ago, because now it's possible for you guys to build pretty substantial projects, even in the course of just one quarter. like in the core in one class, right? Because leaning into generative AI, leaning to many of the tools, foundation models, and everything else, it allows you to build truly amazing products and projects that are very real and that people can actually use. And so that, I mean, that this is a big change from even 5 years ago, where you used to be able to have to hire a whole team. It would take you 6 months to build this type of MVP. Now we saw people in the first sprint, or second sprint, like by first, second, third sprint, like you guys had really substantial projects, which is really amazing. So this is like a new era, and so we want to. This is part of the classes you want to cover. How to develop in this new era.
And that's sort of a term that I'm trying to promote is AI native. Everything you do in your project has some element of AI, from the coding to the preparing presentations, all of it has some AI in it. So it's a new world when your coworker is an LLM model, and you have to embrace it.
Great. Anyway, so let's just get on with the presentations and that. So this is the schedule for today. Each of you get 5 minutes for your presentations, and we'll have like a 1 minute like transition time. But hopefully we're already a little bit behind, but hopefully we'll be able to keep on time for this. So I guess first let's get up the Argus team. Want to come down? Yeah. All right. And by the way, you got a clicker here, and we have 2 mics. You just have to hold it up. And then we have a group that's joining online as well. And so they're seeing through this camera. So
hey everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
I'm Raquel.
Oh, we don't have one? Oh, I don't have no,
and I'm Ethan.
This one.
Thanks, Michael.
Yes.
Okay, and we're excited to introduce Argus AI, or reintroduce this to many of you guys, a real-time supply chain risk analysis platform. So, over the past 5 years, the global economy has been weighed down by many supply chain disruptions. When you think about the war in Ukraine or the global pandemic, companies have been scrambling to address supply chain challenges that they've never really had to think about in the past. And more recently, we've seen an influx in really aggressive trade policies that are changing the cost of inputs across the world. Michael, Raquel, and I all had valuable experience, and we're lucky to work at the White House on supply chain policy. I worked in the semiconductor space, Michael did work in the Made in America office, and then Rick did export control work. And coming out of that experience, we had a couple of major takeaways. One, supply chain disruptions of any size can be incredibly costly. The average company over the course of a decade incurs almost half of their yearly loses half a year's worth of profits from supply chain disruptions alone. When those disruptions occur, it can take over 100 days for inventory levels to return back to normal. But despite these tangible costs, companies still struggle to track and respond to supply chain disruptions. 57% of companies take more than a week to even be alerted to a disruption itself. And then once they're alerted to the disruption, it takes them 2 weeks to plan and execute a response. And so we realize that there's a severe disconnect between kind of the severity of the supply chain issues that we face and the time it takes to respond. And that's because the universe of supply chain disruptions is incredibly vast. It transcends just physical disruptions and also goes into kind of labor disruptions at ports and railways and trade policies like tariffs that change things. So the question is, how do we distill all of that information in an accessible way so that companies can react and respond accordingly?
Thanks, Ethan. And now that we've covered the challenges of supply chain disruptions and the experiences that led us to want to tackle this problem, we would like to introduce Argus AI, an AI-powered agent that helps businesses to have the visibility and intelligence they need to stay ahead of disruptions. Supply chain risks can emerge at any moment. And in order to do this, what Argus AI does is that it provides real-time event surveillance and AI-powered risk analysis so that businesses can stay ahead of their disruptions. And what sets Argus apart from its competitors is its ability to go beyond traditional monitoring systems. Instead of just a simple static dashboard that just monitors disruptions, Argus provides an agentic solution, actively analyzing disruptions and helping users to really understand the risks in their supply chain. And what also sets Argus apart is its speed and precision. Our system is built for its low latency, ensuring that users get real-time alerts, and while it also cuts away the noise with its intelligent filtering system. And in order to show this, we're going to show you guys a quick demo right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump into the screen and give the demo real quick.
Hi, welcome to our demo AI supply chain resilience. Let's go ahead and get started. First, let me sign on in, share my info. From here, we can upload a supply chain database, basically upload all of our info on our suppliers. And so after we upload this, as you can see, Argus will automatically populate a map and a dashboard visualizing our supply chain across the world. All of our products and suppliers are here. So if you want to look more, we have it's held in Detroit, we have a display system with a touch interface here. However, what's probably more interesting here is that after we upload our data set, Argus will automatically scrape the entire internet for disruptions and risks related to the products and suppliers in our supply chain. And Argus will also continue to do this daily and continuously. So as you can see here, there are tariffs that are a disruption on our goods coming from Germany and China, which obviously we've heard a lot about in the past few days. In addition to visualizing and identifying risks, Argus will also help you prepare and respond to these risks. So for instance, if we wanted to learn more about how we could deal with the tariffs on China imports and the tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, we could put them into our risk analysis assistant, which will help us generate a response plan. So let's give it a bit to load. So as you can see, Argus has generated a risk analysis and a response plan with immediate actions and long-term strategy for dealing with these tariffs. And you can ask follow-up questions, you can have a conversation with Argus to figure out how your company can best respond to these disruptions. Thanks for watching and looking forward to chatting more post your session.
How do I?
Hi.
I'm back.
Hi.
Oh. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to chatting with everybody. Sorry,
All right.
I
Yeah.
messed it up.
Cool. No problem. Let's see. So next, let's see who's up next. ReclaimLA. Come on down. ReclaimLA. And right. Yes, that clicker. Yeah, I just try to stand in this area.
This
so
area.
people on mic can see.
Okay, great. All right, so we are super stoked to be here and to present to you our project for this quarter, which is ReclaimLA. It's currently 100% live at reclaimla.org. In short, what we're trying to do is to help victims of the LA fires to start their insurance claim process by helping them catalog their lost belongings. It's quite difficult to truly understand the magnitude of how bad the LA fires were. The New York Times estimated that around 16,000 homes were destroyed and more than $130 billion of value were lost. Of those 130 billion, about 75 were actually insured. As we built the product, we quickly realized that this issue of natural disasters spread beyond just Los Angeles. About 3 weeks into the quarter, we also learned about Hurricane Helene and the victims in North Carolina. And you can see from the table here that in the last 4 years, there were an average of $23 billion plus natural disasters every year. And every year it just gets worse. In the last year, the total in that 1 year of damages was $600 billion. It's really difficult to really understand and wrap your head around how terrible these things are. But as people cope with these challenges, they work with their insurance companies to start to rebuild. But unfortunately, 53% of Americans, the majority, of homeowners fail to pre-prepare a catalog of their items, which is the first thing that you need to start the insurance claims process.
And this is why we built the product we're building and we've built today. So
a very big consideration that we made was the fact that the people using this product would be under immense psychological distress and probably not have access to photos of their homes or a computer to fill out these things, which is why we built the AI agent to be completely done over the phone. All users have to do is put in their phone number and our AI agent will give them a call. When they pick up the phone, our AI agent walks them through their home by using a technique called the memory palace, which will take them on a tour of their house and then catalog each item in each room. It'll first ask for each thing in each room and then later go back and forth and add details to each item they documented. At the end of the call, after the user hangs up, they're able to send receipts and images that then are automatically linked to the different items they described on the call. This was a very important UX consideration to do after the fact so that people didn't feel discouraged to start. After all of that, they just type in their email, send it to us over text, and we'll send them an email that's ready to be forwarded to insurance. We've been live since a week after the fires in week 2, and our product's only gotten better. So far, we've had 500 plus calls and have been featured in 4 plus newsletters. Some important stats to point out. So 93% of the things people said were identified correctly. This was measured by the number of people that had the correct descriptions and items. 67% of that conversations had positive sentiment. And funnily, 11 people hung up after realizing it was an AI agent midway through the call.
Okay, so I think when it comes to building anything, the background and also where we're sort of coming from with this as like people who are building this product matters. So all of us were previously working on various consumer startups, have raised capital before, have gone through this process of like building and iterating really quickly and shipping. Even from like a personal background, I mean, Matthew and I are from California. I grew up with family friends coming over to our house after having evacuated their homes because of wildfire alerts. So this is a very close personal problem. But I also think because we're coming at this from a consumer perspective, it helps us think more about sort of like where people are coming at when they use our product. There was like very particular like decisions that we made when it came to the product. Like you don't have to create an account to get a phone call for the first time. Literally, if you go to our homepage, the first call to action is enter your phone number. We'll send a phone agent to call you. Whereas like I think a lot of times, like for me personally, the past company I worked on, there's like a lot of thought we put behind like onboarding and how to get people to using the product as fast as possible. Because of the particular nature of this product, we wanted to make it literally as easy as possible to start using it. But I think generally like building for users like this at such a close capacity kind of forces you to think about like put your shoes in or put yourself in their shoes. How do you quickly like iterate as fast as possible? This was a very urgent matter. Like we tried to put out the product as fast as possible after news of these wildfires came out. AI is obviously very helpul with that, both from like a coding help perspective, but also like an end product perspective. So yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. We will do a demo outside right after all these presentations. Come try the product.
I think next up is Forage. Double check. Cool. Next up is Forage.
Hi everyone, we're Forage. So for the past year, we've been seeing all these news headlines saying that researchers are running out of data to train large language models. But if we look a little bit closer at the problem, we have a lot of people spending time pre-processing data and not exactly spending time refining and building models. And there's so many different enterprise verticals that have not fully taken advantage of the data that's out there. Also, another problem is that poor data quality leads to $406 million of losses every year.
So Forage is going to be our solution to this data discovery and also unification. So a little bit of background on us. I'm Ashna. I'm a master's student slash CS or BS/MS in computer science AI. I've worked at AI labs and companies in the past where data has basically been a big issue in terms of like comprising data sets for training.
Yeah, similarly, I also have worked in many labs, specifically realizing that like the data pre-processing step requires a lot more time than actually being able to work with models and like manipulate model architecture.
Awesome. So upon talking to customers, we've basically identified that customers want one of two things. Number one, they want to be able to better generate data sets from just existing data that's out there. For example, the example that we always use is if you're trying to make an LLM that's going to be the funniest thing in the world, you want to be able to comprise different comedy scripts and jokes and everything in order to create this using existing data. And then also they want to be able to unify data that they already have in a format that they can use to actually combine and then eventually train on. So our kind of vision for this product is that right now, because people don't really trust, I guess, LLMs in terms of like their capabilities to like actually combine data sets. Our goal is that right now we focus a lot on like scraping, human in the loop, kind of this click-through process. And then eventually our goal is that LLMs will be able to merge these data sets. And finally, like the end goal is that data collection is like not really a separate step to training. It's just like, if you want the data for a specific task, you have it at your disposal. Cool. And a demo. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So for a quick walkthrough of our product, basically you're going to enter in a natural language query of like the type of data set that you want. Sorry, it's a bit blurry. But in this case, I'm saying I want a data set of jokes that with a humor rating. And so you enter in that natural language query, the LLM will come up with a list of keywords that you can use to actually search for data sets on the web for. Right now, I think we're searching through like Hugging Face, Google data search, Google dataset search, etc. And then you can also list out attributes that you want this eventual data set to have. So it'll look for data sets that have these attributes. So for example, I want a humor rating. And then from there, it'll come up with a list of data sets that exist out there on the web. You can select all of them, or you can select a subset of them. And finally, you'll be able to create your data set. So it'll go through, download them, and then unify them. And one of the ways in which it unifies them is that it actually looks at column similarity between different data sets. It tries to match the columns and like bring them together, bring the data more in distribution with each other. And then finally, we also have a chat interface where you can like interact with your data set and like modify basically what's going on in it. So in this case, you can like drop columns, you can normalize data, etc. Cool. Okay, cool. And then, yeah, just briefly on, I guess, where our space kind of is in this market, a lot of solutions currently focus on either like a human in the loop, like you have a team of humans who are like synthesizing your data for you, you have like a contract with them. A lot of them focus on stuff like that. And also most of the current solutions are in the supervised learning state. So it's more about like you provide data and then these teams will like annotate it for you. But we want to operate in the unsupervised learning state because like with the advent of LLMs these days, like unsupervised learning is definitely popping off. And yeah, the idea is to be able to like discover data that doesn't really exist at your disposal yet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's just gonna fix the Zoom quickly. Let's see. You know which one? Copy the invite link. Okay. Yeah. I'll just Slack you the invite link. Okay. Of course. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Cool. This one? Okay. Perfect. Okay, we got next up, we got Modo Academy. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we're Modo Academy. So if you are parents or you have parents who have kids who are around middle school and high school, you know how stressed and anxious they are about their kids' extracurricular. And the thing is, like, they know extracurricular is super important for setting out in college applications. But the problem is currently finding these guidance is either super difficult or super expensive, right? You have like small boutique shop that will help your kids build up the extracurricular and it costs thousands of dollars. And we talked to over 100 parents. And what we realized is that there's a consistent problem here. They talk about, oh, my kid is interested in marine biology, but I don't know how to support their interest. My kid is want to go into biomedical science, but the school only offers like music and sports. So the thing is, they have this kind of need to help their kids explore their passion and develop their extracurricular, but there's just no resources. And at the same time, for us college students, we kind of want to monetize our expertise, right? But the problem is currently, you can be a babysitter, $18 an hour, tutoring.com, $20 an hour, Handshake. That's a full-time job or part-time job that requires a lot of commitment, right? This requires low pay or low flexibility. So we got parents who are looking to help their kids build their extracurricular and passion. At the same time, college students who want to monetize their expertise. And we think that right now, AI is actually possible to turn anyone at scale into great instructors, which means that you can unlock your expertise becoming a teaching expert and also helping you with automating all the research that's necessary to actually create curriculum and also providing personalized feedback to these students. And so what we're doing is Modo Academy. We're a marketplace that connects teams with college students to build up, send out extracurricular projects. So when the students join in our website, they can get started with creating an account, and then right away they can see, okay, put in the information that what they're interested in, okay, what they have things that they have done in the past, what their strengths are, what their passion are, and their parents can fill this out together with them. And afterwards, they can find the mentors who are a perfect match. For example, you're interested in robotics, perfect. Let's meet a robotics PhD here who might be willing to work with you on a mentoring project and schedule a session right away. And so these kids can work with these mentors on a 10-week project and actually launch something within that 10 weeks. And at the same time, so how would that work for the mentor side? The mentors will get these tool sets that we built for creating curriculum, right? So once the students are matched with them, they automatically generate the entire curriculum for the mentor to design together. And then at the same time, when they are having on these virtual calls with the mentees, our AI will join the call and document all the information and then give real-time feedback to the mentor. Let's say, okay, you should ask more questions or providing more guiding suggestions. And so we also add in a gamification process so that the students, once they launch these projects, they can share publicly to anyone and at the same time get feedback from others, right? So this creates this positive feedback loop that it's not just them building these projects themselves, but actually with other students who are also really passionate about whatever they're doing. And so far, we have generated over 8K in revenue in the past 3 weeks, just by onboarding families. And also we have been hosting webinars and our conversion rate is surprisingly high at 40%. And so let's talk about what we're doing exactly right now. We want to make sure this entire experience is actually beneficial for the education part. So we are actually also doing in-person sessions to see what are the challenges that these mentees are facing and what the mentors are facing, and designing tools exactly for these students and mentors. And so, yeah, the feedback was great. So kids are so excited about actually building these projects with these mentors. And we also got really strong signal because these parents are really excited about this. They are thinking about, wow, my kid actually get inspired by someone who's really passionate about their work, whether you're a master's or PhD or undergrad here, studying what you're passionate about, right? And also they're constantly asking, what can you do next, right? Parents are keep on following up, and we post on Facebook group, getting a lot of comments and signups as well. And so we've launched multiple webinars in the past few weeks. And the thing is, this market is quite huge. So 6.1 million students These are the students that we're targeting initially for private schools and also public school parents who are actually paying for outside of school and after school cost, and 2.5K for the LTV. So that's around 15 billion. We can expand potentially to internationally as well. And looking at the competitors, we have Plugins focused on one-on-one research. We have LemmaLynx focused on MBA and professional development. We also have Cardinals focused on one-on-one mentorship, right? But what we are focusing on is mainly on these project-based programs that are matching students together and also these mentors together to actually launching projects within these 10 weeks. And so mentors will get higher pay because they can teach multiple students at the same time, and also less admin work because we're using AI to automate most of the process. For families, it's more affordable because they can work on multiple students at the same time, right? And at the same time, it provides even more highly personalized guidance for them compared to other solutions. And so, yeah, Engineer AI, we've been working on this and we'll be also continuing full-time after graduation as well. And so Engineer has a lot of experience with education. She has been mentoring a lot of hundreds of kids in the past few years, also work at Meta. And for me, I've been running a nonprofit focused on how to apply AI in education, and also have been head TA and also a lot of the project lead for most of the AI classes here. And so for me personally, it's actually tied to my own experience because I grew up in Taiwan, and I was doing this experimental education outside of school. And this is exactly the education that I hope that more students can actually access, project-based learning. And so next step, that we're going to onboard more mentors. So if you're interested in mentoring some kids and get paid maybe $100 an hour, $150 an hour, reach out to us. And at the same time, we're gonna most likely gonna reach out to a lot of parents' families. So if you know any parents that we can reach out to chat with, that would be great. And college counselors, and we'll be raising an angel round most likely closer to June and July. And so, yeah, feel free to reach out to us if you're interested, and happy to chat more later on. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So next up, I think WaitLess Mental Health. Yeah. One.
Hi, everybody. Pleasure to meet y'all. My name's Andrew. I'm an MD candidate here at Stanford and also doing my master's in clinical informatics. I'm working today with Akash and presenting to you WaitLess Mental Health. I don't think this, oh, there we go. So let's talk about depression. Depression is a disease state where people cannot get moving. There's quite a bit of latency from this, actually. Yet they're expected to initiate their own treatment. And on top of that, they're supposed to remember everything between and within sessions once they finally get a therapist. And you best believe that that therapist is not going to be sharing their notes. So you're all alone in that sense. But what if we could actually initiate care for patients and call them? And what if we could also just remember their journey for them so that they could sit back, relax, and enjoy the therapeutic experience? Well, that's what WaitLess is meant to do. So WaitLess will initiate conversations via phone and text. And it'll work to create a health record for both the patient and the provider, bringing clinical grade information to a place where there's no information before. And it'll improve outcomes, both for the patient in terms of remission from depression and for the provider in terms of patient engagement and retention. And so WaitLess already has gotten some traction, believe it or not. We do have 34 motivated beta testers that we've gathered from a number of different avenues. And we've also got some really exciting people that we've talked to in terms of providers. We have a design partner there at the top. And we've also spoken to some insurers about getting this thing paid for, not by the provider or the patient. And so that's been very rewarding as well.
And so, yeah, now I think we just want to walk you through a quick demo that we have that'll take you through a day using WaitLess. Sound's not working. Is there no sound?
Oh. Good thing we got captions, huh?
I can also walk you through. So this is just WaitLess calling me in the morning, waking me up and asking me about my presentation for 224G today. And so this is just supposed to show you that it's proactive. Kind of moving on, you can see it's personalized because it takes into account the actual therapy notes that your therapist is writing you. So here, I think the therapist was telling me that if I'm nervous to do some deep breathing exercises. And so now I'm telling it that right before my 224G presentation, I'm nervous, and it tells me to do the breathing exercises. It was also multimodal, as you saw. You could do the text-based features, or you could call it, and it's all connected on the back end. And then lastly, there's like a lot of flexible tracking. And so the providers can, in this case, said that it was helpful for me to play basketball at least twice a week, and I feel better when I do that. And so now you can see here that at the end, it's going to recommend that after my presentation is over and I have time, it might be good for me to get out and try to go play some basketball. Yeah. So, but here you can see it saying it's encouraging me in like a more subtle way to say like, oh, this might be a good time to go play some basketball. And so it's here trying to like enforce the therapist's wishes on you at all times. And so I can probably skip this for now because there's no volume. But this is just me calling it at the end of the night and telling it basketball went well and thanking it for all its help. So yeah, so just from next steps kind of moving forward, on the patient side, we want to keep refining the agent so that way it can get better care, have more accurate scheduling and kind of target the exact times of when to call the patient. And then third, have more flexible tracking mechanisms. And then from there, we also want to build out the UI. I think that's less important for us because we're trying to make this as easy for the patients and work mainly through phone call and text, but still a nicer UI could help with the user experience. And then finally, from there, we want to build out the provider side where we can provide data on the patients in between sessions to enhance their experiences. And secondly, take the notes for them during the sessions. This will do two things. First, address a big pain point of theirs, which is their documentation. And second, make our product more personalized because we'll be in the session and have all of that information. So yeah, I just want to give a thank you to the teaching team for an awesome quarter. And if you want a demo, please come find us after. Sorry.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So who's up? Let's see who's up next. We got we did. So this one did Reclaim. We'll go back to the list. Let's see. So oh yeah, okay, you guys are up. Yeah. Got it. This one, you want to refresh. Okay, looking good. Okay, slideshow. Perfect. Okay, so we got two lavaliers. So just pull them up. Yeah,
sweet. Awesome. And then this is a clicker as well.
This is a clicker. Yeah, nice. This is a clicker.
Testing this. Oh, sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Hi guys. I'm Michael.
I'm Miro.
And my niece and nephew are really bad at math. And many kids in the US are. And so my brother and his wife have tried to look for some solutions to help them improve their math ability. But what we found is that many math apps and games on the App Store and online are very tangentially related to math at all. And we didn't see any improvement in their math scores or their performance after using these. So that inspired us to make LemmaLynx.
Yeah. So you guys have heard of LemmaLynx before. We've got a lot of new features that I'd like to show you. But first and foremost, I kind of want to give an overview of what motivated LemmaLynx. Really, we wanted to have math be at the center of our design when we made LemmaLynx. The gamification aspects that we didn't end up incorporating are very small. They're often like the corner there. And really, the majority of the screen is just dedicated to working on and learning math. LLMs are underutilized. They're very new technology. They just got pretty much smart enough to really be effective tutors. And so underutilized, we have like one competitor, IXL, completely no LLM integration there. So we're kind of taking a step forward. And then tutoring is very expensive. Around here in Palo Alto, the average tutor can cost you $45 to $70 an hour for this sort of work. And so this will be a very accessible option. So this is LemmaLynx, the sort of math side of everything. You can see that the screen is a blank canvas pretty much for the student to work with. we've got our links guy in the bottom left. You can click him for help. And as we set up the problem, it gives you kind of hints or sort of direction on how to proceed. We click him again for another hint.
You've correctly lined up the numbers to subtract. Now, let's subtract the digits in the ones place, which is 9 minus 9. What do you get?
Hard problem.
Difficult. Another hint.
The problem is 89 minus 9. You have correctly set up the subtraction problem and correctly subtracted the numbers in the ones place. 9 minus.
You can make her stop talking if you want.
Yay, good job.
They did it.
Awesome. So, you know, upon testing, ooh, which one are you using? Is it this one? Upon testing our like this kind of basic canvas and hint design with my niece and nephew, we realized that while the hints actually were helpful and took some prompt iteration, but it was successful, it was hard to stay motivated throughout the whole, I guess, journey to continue doing problems. So we went from the principle of, you know, excitement and dopamine should come from learning and through progress, not through playing games or some animated feature, should come from learning math. So we created essentially a story mode where units take you through a rewarding story, and then doing more practice earns you what we call Geld, which can be used in the store. And you'll see that here.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, man. Oops. Oh, yes, there you go. So you'll see momentarily we're about to pass the 80% milestone threshold. I think I have to do one more problem before getting there. It takes me a second to think about it. And then after passing 80% of unit 1, you create your knight who you'll be using for the rest of the story. That's cool. Great. And through each milestone that you make, you get an additional part of the story along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So just another note on the sort of pricing and sort of business model for links. As I mentioned earlier, tutoring is very expensive, especially in a part of the country like here. Links is going to be $3.99 to own forever, so no subscription service there. Later on, we might introduce some sort of subscription service if we feel like we're introducing more value over time and sort of expand on the free tier as we iterate on the project. But we truly believe that personalized fun tutoring should be accessible to everybody, and that's sort of the core tenet underlying links. Yeah, and so as you can see here, we have this is sort of our free trial version at the start here on the left. We just have a very basic tutorial mode, pretty much, where you can try out a few problems using links, try out the AI, and then on the right there you can see sort of the dashboard. You get one free unit, and then they ask you to unlock all with $3.99.
Sweet. And that has been LemmaLynx. Thank you so much.
Cool. Okay. Next up, we got after links, Tutor++. Yeah, come on down. Okay, open already. Yeah, just hold it up. Yeah.
Hold it, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay. All right, so this is Tutor++. I'm going to kind of go through what we've done this quarter and kind of what we hope to do later. So just to kind of revise you guys on the problem that we're solving. It's a pretty simple problem that I think most of you probably have experienced, but I know I've definitely experienced as a CS student, which is that students wait for hours in, you know, office hours or even on ed sometimes, usually in office hours. And so basically, especially in classes where there's a lot of students, like CS classes or math classes or any sort of undergrad engineering classes, TAs can be really overwhelmed. And so it's really hard to just get a good TA to student ratio and basically get students help in a timely manner. Students are sort of stuck waiting in office hours for hours. And professors can't really scale personalized support. You know, you have to hire more people. That requires money, labor, and that's sort of a bottleneck, right? And that results in a lot of frustrated students. So basically, just kind of give you guys a more acute insight. This is sort of like what we did a user interview with a student, and this is real feedback from one of the CS109 students we spoke with, which is I posted on Ed, no reply, office hours full, and I was stuck on one problem for 2 hours. This was later in the quarter, so it was definitely a bit of a harder topic. And we kind of noticed that this was a pretty common theme across a lot of students we had spoken to. I will say that like this was done before I think like the class itself had beefed up its TA support and its infrastructure. And so it's a little bit better now, but we still definitely noticed this theme, not just in pilot class that we had noticed it in, but also across a series of different systems engineering and mathematics classes. And so we've kind of noticed, especially for maybe less forward-thinking classes, is that the current system is pretty reactive and slow. And students really need help in the moment, not later. So I think I've sort of beat you guys over the head with a problem. Pretty intuitive. Here's our solution. So me and my friend Kashyap, he's a friend of mine for a good time. We actually created an AI tutor trained on particularly CS109 content, since that was just a pilot class we were working with. Our aim was to provide personalized, real help to students and a tutor that was available 24/7. Of course, you don't get the satisfaction of viewing a TA's face in real time and interacting in person, but the functional benefit of getting some sort of guidance on a question to help you solve a problem and learn material, we help to achieve that with our AI tutor. And our goal is that not only can students get the help they need fast, which was the own problem that we'd experienced, but that it reduces the load on TAs and they can scale their support more effectively. And that allows students on a larger scale to improve understanding and not just sort of have that be based in a small minority of students. So basically, we like to say it's like an always on TA tailored to your specific course. And so why we felt that it was a lot better, compared to the existing solution, it's instant help, not delayed replies. That's pretty intuitive. We thought of, like you could obviously go to like a ChatGPT or a Claude and try to paste in your questions on the internet and try to get back responses. And you probably will get back, very correct responses that'll help you finish the problem that you're looking for. But a lot of times material, and I specifically noticed this in some Stanford CS classes, is very localized to the course itself, right? There's language that certain professors like to use, or maybe certain ways that professors like to teach topics that are necessarily different than you might see on an average course that might be indexed online. And so the goal is that since this is a localized LLM fine-tuned specifically to the course, this allows the LLM to answer, in this case, in CS109s or whatever course you're taking, the language of that course and not just generic internet answers. And we kind of started to sort of coin this term, what we call the Socratic method of teaching. We noticed when we observed a lot of TAs helping students, we noticed, if you try to feed that to an LLM, it might just give you a blueprint for how to solve the problem. And all you're doing is just plugging in numbers and getting to the answer. So I guess it isn't technically giving you the answer, but it's effectively giving you a blueprint. That doesn't really help encourage understanding. We notice a lot of real-time TAs tend to ask questions like, hey, what do you remember from this week in class? How can we better improve on that understanding? What principle do you think we should be using here? Or why do you think this might be used incorrectly? And so sort of the question-based method, that Socratic method we call it, was a workflow and basically a workflow we tried to pioneer and try to really embed within our LLM. And we really try to use a lot of system prompts to get the LLM to answer through that more question-based method. And lastly, TA stay in the loop for chat moderation escalation. Just to kind of summarize this, we've had some CS students already start to test this. Students are actually getting real assignment feedback, mainly a few of our friends. And TA interviews showed high interest and concerns that we've already addressed. So for example, like a lot of TAs were concerned that folks could reverse engineer the LLM, et cetera. And so we're really looking to sort of cover our bases there. In terms of our background, right, this is just sort of like, me, I sort of did more of the user interviews engagement, and my boy Cash, he built the full stack system and some of the backend engineering. And we've actually experienced the problem ourselves. So we know this was a problem that was needed. I don't know how much time I have left, probably not much. So I won't bore you guys with a demo, but it's a pretty intuitive one. Feel free to come to me to check out later. And what's next for us is that we hope to ideally integrate this full term. We ideally would love to pilot this within a particular course. I think we're probably looking at another course other than CS109. 109 tends to have actually a pretty high TA to student ratio, and the pain is a little bit less acute. But we hope to be able to roll it out across other classes. And so, if you guys are interested in trying it out, hit me up. You know where to find me. And would love your feedback on the product.
Great. Okay. Next up, we've got Chorus. Let me grab the latest one here.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, yeah, so we got two mics. If you you can just hold it up. Yeah.
Talker.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. We're Chorus. So yeah, today we are doing our final project pitch. We're going to go through our team, our problem, our solution, tech stack, and then finally our demo. So this is us. George, Janice, and I, as you can see, we're all bachelor's and master's at Stanford studying AI. We have all worked in research at a range of different tech companies, ranging from startup stage, big tech, in AI, consumer facing, software development, and more. And the cool thing about our team is even though we're all in AI, our interests are very different, and the way that we want to apply AI are very different. George's energy, Janice is HAI and design, and I'm computer vision and games. So when we kind of came together, it was we all had different ideas from our own disciplines, right? And it was what are we gonna do? And then we also ended up finally coming up with a solution and a problem that kind of we all faced. And then it went from there. So yeah.
So the problem is that, sorry, I'm testing the mic. The problem is that AI systems are really good at solving small problems, right? You give it one function to write, you give it a LeetCode question, you give it one homework question. It can definitely do that, but the main problem with AI systems is that if you try to tackle anything bigger than that, like a complex project, you have a lot of problems. You have to be the director, and you end up with coverage gaps, fragmented processes, wasted time, and diminished outcomes. So if you guys have ever come across this problem, either you're trying to create an entire web app from scratch, or maybe you're trying to start off a research paper, or tackling any other large application, you are normally the one taking on the role of guiding the LLM and debugging everything that it gets wrong, reprompting in order to debug. And it's just a lot of overhead, right? It would just be so nice if I could tell it, can you make me this website? And I could just sit there and I wouldn't have to ask it to retry, reprompt, etc. So that was the main vision for what we wanted to do with Chorus.
Yeah, with Chorus, we have a multi-agent approach to large action modeling. And so this time around, you're able to have different LLMs collaborate to work on a project for you. And for this particular example that we have here, we have GPT working together with Claude and DeepSeek to make a project or something for the user. And we also have a lot of LLMs for different kinds of collaboration. So initially, our tech stack was basically we're inspired by our initial tech stack, which was you'd have a commander which will split the task for other LLMs. So we're using GPT as a commander, and then Claude as a writer, and Mistral as a safeguard, so that they would all work on making the project for the user. But then after user testing and talking to industry mentors and all of that, we realized that some flexibility would be good. And so our new process allows you to choose whatever models that you'd want to be for the roles that you want them to be for. So then you could have GPT as commander, you could change it. It depends on whatever you really want. And for this round two, you can get them to work on, you can prompt them and then they will collaborate and then give you a response, and then you can choose other models and assign them different roles, or you could even take some models out and then continue prompting them. So we give the user much more flexibility and power to navigate the whole process. And yeah, we also have incorporated some temperature adjustments. So then it's easier for the user to, adjust it so that they can get desired outcome of text or responses that they would want. And we use the Open Router API as well.
So yeah, we'll go into our demo. So one word that was used a lot was flexibility. And this is going back to kind of all of our different interests, right? So all of us use CS and AI for different reasons. Because of that, we would also use different language models and AI models that we'd want to collaborate with. So we set up Tutor-based, we have our login. As you can see, when there's also more, but for the sake of this demo, we just started with kind of the these six. And essentially all of them are like assigned recommended roles, and then you can kind of like prompt, say the initial like project prompts that you want to do. And then they'll all like kind of respond and kind of collaborate with each other. We also have a history here and a save button. I forgot the order in which like I like clicked through this demo. But yeah, you could save your history and you can go back to conversations like whenever you kind of want. So yeah, as you can see here, like it's one at a time. So the first model then first like responds, and then like the other ones respond to it. And then as you can see, you can also pick up from where you left off, and you can also change whichever models you're kind of wanting to interact with. So here we would do a technical writer and then a code specialist, which would be Mistral, that one, and then it kind of ends up with what you have. And then there's a temperature one. It's actually not said in the demo, but you can also adjust what your response style and things you want. And this is the dark mode that we were proud of. So that's your demo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Cool. Okay, next up, got so proof checker. You guys. Oh yeah, perfect. Oh, okay, I'm gonna start first.
Let's just make sure we get the mics untangled. Right. Hello, everyone. We are LemmaLynx. We're building an AI grader for advanced STEM subjects. So 25 million hours. That's a roundabout number of hours that's going to be spent grading university level math in 2025. This is a really, really menial task. It involves going through line after line of close reasoning, scrutinizing it to see which line is wrong. Once I graded a single solution that was 10 pages long, I was totally invalid just because of one mistake on page 7. Now, this is a menial task, but it's also a really expensive one, because it turns out that in order to actually do this scrutinizing, you need to have a huge breadth of knowledge, both in math and for science courses in science. There needs to be a better way, because this costs universities roughly $3 billion just to grade students' assignments.
But LLMs offer an amazing opportunity to solve this problem. They're great at solving these needle in the haystack type of issues, and we can easily train and fine-tune them to have a really broad subject matter expertise, which would make them excellent graders. So our AI grading copilot allows people to easily upload assignments and be graded by an LLM grader. And because the LLM grader can parallelize tasks, it can grade all solutions simultaneously at once, allowing graders to grade up to 400 times faster. And because we understand that sometimes LLMs can make mistakes and humans provide critical value too, we enable a human to be in the loop and edit the feedback and grades produced by our copilot. As graders ourselves, we've benefited tremendously from the feedback that a product like this can provide. So let's check out a quick demo.
We offer full inline math mode LaTeX commenting capabilities with real-time preview rendering. You can save any changes you've made. If you wish to add your own comment on a student's work, simply highlight the student's submission and write out your own feedback, which will be saved in the grader panel. Should you want to, you can also delete any comment written by either you or the grader. In addition to typeset solutions, our grader also handles Stanford work. As you can see here, it is correctly identified that the student's linear math does not satisfy the parameters of the problem. Once a class is onboarded, students will be the ones submitting their assignments, and auto-grading like this will happen simultaneously in the background. We know instructors are concerned about academic integrity. That's why we built guardrails to automatically flag any attempts at abuse of the system. After you sign up, your home base will be the course page, containing all the courses you teach or are enrolled in. You can create your own course, adding key details like the course name, term, and an entry code for students to join your class. When you click on a course, you're taken to the course page. From here, you can create a new assignment, assign the points and a due date, and optionally add a bridge for our graders to reference. And when you select an assignment, you can see key information and statistics. This is where you'll be able to finalize the grader's scores and publish them to your class. LemmaLynx is an AI-powered.
All right. So right now we're working with graders at different institutions, including UPenn and UCLA, to try to integrate their current grading workflow into using our product. Just yesterday, roughly 100 assignments were graded on our platform, with graders existing on their current course management solutions, but outsourcing grading to us to test it out. Now, once people start to like this product, we want to onboard them to give the full course management solution to us. Ultimately, one thing a lot of people asked for when they were grading is that PhD students really want to try to make some extra money from being able to sell the reinforcement learning data from AI training. And so we want to explore the possibility of giving them the right to license that data for AI training, both for us and for other companies. We're particularly excited about this prospect because this kind of grading data is really valuable. It is data produced by experts about advanced reasoning that's really hard to find in other places. So I have 3 years experience as a math grader, TA, and instructor. I've also published a bunch of papers in combinatorics. And Cassidy is an economics teaching assistant and grader, and she's been tutoring economics and writing for many years now. Sorry.
So our competition also offers comprehensive course management, and if you hire the correct graders, accurate grading. But by allowing our LLM grader to parallelize the process of grading, we unlock much faster speed as a benefit, as well as the high accuracy that can often surpass humans. Furthermore, rather than taking a generalist approach, we're honing in on the advanced STEM market, offering specialized benefits like real-time LaTeX rendering, which none of our competitors provide. And lastly, as we just mentioned, by exploring monetization opportunities for AI training, we're giving people an additional bang for their buck that none of the other competitors provide. And while we do plan to charge money for the grading services that we offer, we anticipate that our users will be able to save hundreds of dollars on labor costs through using our LLM product.
So you can try it out now at LemmaLynx.com with any of your past homework assignments. You can also come and visit us at the poster presentation. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. What's up, Will?
Just gonna.
Yep.
Great.
Hey. Hi, everyone. We're Team Quill, and we're doing AI-powered form filling. So here's the problem. Whether you're at the doctor's office or you're running up against the IRS deadline, filling out forms can be frustrating, repetitive, and inefficient. And when we surveyed over 50 potential users, we found that 86% found filling forms excessively time-consuming. 62% said it was difficult accessing or finding the information they needed. And while autofill services exist, it can be risky to expose user data to online LLMs, especially when 81.8% of users cite data privacy and security as their top concern. So we're introducing Quill, the local AI assistant that fills out forms on your device. It saves you time, it's accurate, you get to choose what data on your device the app will access. You have the option to review or confirm data that gets put into a form, and in the future, Quill will even submit that information on your behalf, making a seamless process for the user.
Sure. More about the product we built here. So Q can fill out the form both in paper and online. We can simply do that through a chat. And the Q is also designed to be used for virtually any type of the forms, including medical forms, medical forms, and tax returns, job or like internship applications or CVs, and many more. So how does a Quill work? Here's a general workflow. So user first uploads an old form to Quill, and our RAG, the retrieval augmented generation system, will processes these fields and stores them in a vector database. And this RAG system is totally local and running a Llama 3.2 vision model. And then the user can upload a new blank form to be filled. The RAG can auto-fill the fields, and then the missing fields are filled by user chat. For example, there are some fields you feel is wrong or is missing, you can update that. And lastly, the model can call the Google or Mistral OCR to fill in the answers at the banks and outputs a completely finished forms in PDF forms.
All right, so to see the full value of this, we're actually going to walk through the demo. So everybody, I want you to role play as John Smith, just collective you, okay? So you're John, you have an appointment in 10 minutes, as you can see here. You go into our form assistant. You actually had a surgery last week, so you have the medical intake forms that you need to fill out, but it's slightly different. Not every form is the same. So you give it one from last week, and it's got all the correct information, or at least you think so. Take a look a little bit closer, and you actually realize that even after a very faithful marriage, you wrote your spouse's name wrong. She's your emergency contact. That's kind of an issue we'll deal with later, but for now, let's correct that in the chat. There's a correction. And then let's get that new intake form uploaded. Give it a minute to think. And there you have it. It's your new intake form. You can go ahead and download that, print it out. Maybe you need to send it directly via email. Yeah, so that's that. Now, Ismail will talk about online forms.
Okay, so Quill will not only cater to electronic forms, but also to web-based form filling. So here's just a small proof of concept that we're able to build. So essentially, you, as a first-time user, you insert a link, Quill will greet you with some conversation, and it would extract the fields from the web-based form and help you fill it out. Like I said, this is a first-time user. How we see is that if you are a returning user, all you have to do is just insert a link, verify that all your information is updated, and just submit in just under a minute. So just some next actions is to tweak our prompting and to integrate it with our UI to complete this web-based form filling. So why Quill and why now? So if there was something that I wanted you to take out from Quill, is that privacy is our highest priority. So your data stays on your device. So Quill's processing, Quill's filling, and Quill submitting all happens locally on your machine. So it's true that LLMs will improve in the near future, which means automated form filling improves, which also means Quill will improve and will handle better more complex forms later in the future. So just to talk a little bit about our market, so there are opportunities everywhere. So with just one single type of fillable form in 2023, a tax return, there were over 175 million people that had to fill it out. This just comes to show a small little teeny portion from the market that Quill has. And so this is our team. We're a group of diverse people with diverse backgrounds who came together to solve form filling from big tech to research to federal and state government positions and to professional law. We came together to create the ink that thinks. So if you guys have time after the session, please come talk to us. Please check out our poster. Here's our poster in this QR code. And thank you so much for the pros for this amazing course. And thank you guys for listening to us.
Ooh, okay. Next up, the Quill, we got Avia. Come on down, yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rana. This is Xiaoyan. This is Zoe, and we are Avia, an AI copilot, literally. Anyways, so in the past year, there's been a lot of, in the past year, 2025, there's only been like 3 months into the year. There's been a lot of plane accidents, and even more in the past. For example, one of the accidents was in Washington where a helicopter crashed into a plane. Other one was in Toronto where maybe some of you have seen, plane literally flipped and landing. So in total, there's been 94 accidents in 2025. And unfortunately, the very sad fact is that 53% of like most accidents, plane accidents, are not because of the mechanical error, but it's because error in pre-flight and something that the pilot overlooked. And as a pilot myself, I recently got my private pilot's license, and all of these accidents and everything just makes me very, very scared to fly. I do think that most people feel this way because we've surveyed a bunch of people who also have their private pilots, and the feedback that we've been getting about why they aren't flying so often is because they just panic a lot and they like do all these accidents and they just second guess themselves, and that just makes them more prone for error. So basically, when you're flying alone, pilots don't have co-pilots, which is why we decided to build Avia, which is a little co-pilot on your phone for smarter, safer flight training and real-time feedback while you're flying. So our team, this is our team, we're 3 people. I am a private pilot, which is how I came up with this problem and with a solution, maybe. And I pitched this in this class, and I was very, very happy, excited, and lucky to find 2 brilliant, amazing co-founders who were very good in CS and also very amazing in marketing and words, which I can't really do so much. So.
So for our Avia, we have 2 LLMs. First one is emergency LLM. The second one is training LLM for now. So we have our LLM demos on our website too. So for the emergency LLM, it basically, if you are encounter any emergency situation during your flight, you ask this LLM for any guidance and help, and this LLM will like give you instructions of how you can do to solve this problem, or how you can do to help you continue flying. And the training LLM is for, it will like kind of like, we are currently simulating the flight data, but if you connect to the flight data, it will provide you more guidance on in-flight training and how you can better like modify your flights and to get a better flights. And not only we do have those 2 LLMs, we also incorporate into our Avia app. So for our Avia app, we have the LLM Copilot live.
What you should do.
Oh. Yeah, I will. No, I will just mute the voice.
No problem.
Oh,
Stay
sorry.
focused on your current situation and commit.
Oh.
Okay, well,
I will.
Current situation and commit.
Yeah. Okay. So we incorporate this live speech-to-speech LLM because during the flight, the pilots cannot really text. So they will like ask LLM through voice, and LLM will give feedback through voice. But not only for the co-pilot, we also have your own like personal profiles and database established. You can also You can also you can also post anything you see during a flight, anything you see after the flight, or any thought you have about the flight to the community, and other people can also say that.
Okay, we're not.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah.
We also did market check of what AI agent is doing right now in aviation industry. And we found out only one called Goose AI is doing voice-based assistant, which can work offline when you are flying. And here's our differentiation. We build a community. In Avia, you can connect with local pilots in your local airport or flight schools or clubs, and you can connect with them. You can make training plans together, and you can also post feed, as what Xiaoyue just demoed before. For our next steps, we are planning to connect with Garmin SD card and test among the pilots on board some flight schools and clubs. Also, we will expand our feature to pre-flight planning and post-flight report.
We should. So this is our first spring demo of me in the plane, and I couldn't unfortunately demo our last demo because it was raining. I can't fly in the rain. But yeah, so I guess our objective right now is to, we have a community side and we want to like put this into the community and like give it to pilots. And I've done it to like, I've given it to my flight instructor, but also we want to put this into more commercial airlines, and also especially in jet testing in the defense industry, because there's a lot of jet pilots who unfortunately lose their lives because they have not enough hours to fly all these military jets, and these military jets are like all experimental. So whenever something goes wrong in a data, it's really hard to see for the jet pilots. We see a world where LLMs help pilots and focus on flight. So I hope you join us. We have a wait list now because we're about to publish the app. So yeah.
And we also will have our like demo and app for the poster session too.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, patient triage. Shit, okay.
It's the one of the other.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
That one. This one. Yes.
Thank you. Hello, can you hear me? Good. Hi, we are Triage. Nice to meet you. I'm Cesar. I'm a third-year doctoral student in epidemiology and clinical research with about 20 years of experience in healthcare industry. My expertise is in healthcare delivery, corporate finance, and population health.
Yeah, hi, my name is Yang, and I'm a fourth-year undergrad and also a co-term in CS, concentrating in AI and systems, and I have some big experience in big tech and AI research.
One of the biggest problems in the healthcare industry is physician overload. We have a lot of physicians who are highly trained, but they're made responsible for everything within the hospital. One of the issues that occurs with that is that a lot of patients have to wait longer time to see the physicians for critical needs. As the healthcare system has grown organically, we've also ended up with resource misallocation by having nurses and nurse practitioners and physician assistants being used for other tasks that are no longer necessary. As a consequence, a lot of the healthcare system still uses manual ways of triaging patients, which causes delays and inefficiencies.
Yeah, so one of our big ideas for why we wanted to create this product called Triage is that the actual triage process of categorizing a patient based on the symptoms they present with is actually very systematic and it's kind of automatable. So we wanted to solve that with our app. So our particular solution is to basically create an LLM powered agent that allows patients to describe their symptoms in a ChatGPT-like interface, or in the future, we might develop in voice as well, and then be triaged into appropriate providers, such as like the nurse, the ER, physician assistant, or physician. And the key aspects of this is that one, we wanted to reduce wait times by doing our AI-powered symptoms assessment. So ChatGPT already has like a database of some of the symptoms that they are looking for, and also using RAG to retrieve the latest medical guidelines so that we can be responsible in triaging a patient. We also want to use medical guidelines, as we said, and also optimize care by sending patients to the appropriate level and not wasting any more resources from our primary care physicians, and then also improving access for everyone. Yeah, so in terms of our product, you can see a quick kind of like UI share of what it looks like. So the step one is the patient chats with the interface, and basically it's a ChatGPT wrapper. They describe their symptoms, and then the GPT asks them questions. And then the AI analyzes, retrieves data using RAG, and then decides and triages the patient, like text that's here. And then finally, we have a database layer where the actual case is triaged to appropriate physicians, like account that they create on the website so that they can actually manage that case and mark it as resolved. And then this is kind of what the physician side of it looks like. You can track all of the cases you can see down here, and then you can move them to different processes. Or if you want to escalate or de-escalate them, you can, like, if you're a physician, you see something that should be handled by a nurse, you can like take them to the nurse, basically. And then one of the biggest questions we have is like, what if the LLM is wrong? So especially in the healthcare setting, there's a lot of problems with liability and also like being responsible. So basically the solution we have for this is the LLM's triage is only advisory because obviously the patient symptoms should be evaluated with the doctor at the end of the day. The health provider needs to review the decision at the end of the day, and then also the relevant documents that RAG has fetched, and then they can escalate or de-escalate the case at the end.
So one of the things that is very important with a product like this is if the market actually wants it. So since the advent of telemedicine, a lot of physicians have now been more open to using technology than they've ever had in the history of time. The healthcare industry is a $2.7 trillion industry, of which approximately $300 billion is allocated to healthcare efficiencies. And since we're dealing with physician burnout, approximately 48% of physicians have indicated that they're burnt out. And this leads to approximately a 65% attrition in a lot of physicians who finish residency and just quit the industry. Our solution offers a lower cost through appropriate triage by maximizing the amount of patients that a physician can see at the top of their license. So the evidence base that we have is that we're addressing a critical need in terms of triaging patients
through automation. We're using medical guidelines as opposed to depending on the EHR. We're reducing physician load by allowing other stakeholders to take control of certain patients. And we are scalable and EHR independent, which is very critical. We're not the only game in town. There are other other companies that are actually focused on this specific problem, but they all have certain issues attached to them. Epic, for example, is very expensive. It costs about $150,000 per implementation, and they actually take your data and use it. AdHealth, for example, they're not really focused on physician overload, but they're focused more on the patient's you focus more on patients and what patients are looking for, which isn't typically what the physician needs in their practice. In addition to that, we are also EHR independent, which is critical for low resource centers that don't have EHRs.
Yes, the TLDR for everything is that there aren't a lot of other products out there who address a particular triage related issue. And then using guidelines as well. And that's it. I think, thank you so much, everyone. We can come back into our poster section and see a demo.
Thank you.
Hey, next up, Hallucination Nation, aka Product Plan AI.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Set a little timer here.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Our team is Hallucination Nation, and we're here to show you Product Plan AI. So the problem we're trying to solve is if you have ever worked in a large tech organization, you might agree with us that the process seems to be broken. It really takes a long time, sometimes weeks, even months, to launch a product. And this is something that definitely has actually been an issue that I've experienced many times from different standards. So we set out to better understand this problem. And to that, we interviewed several executives in tech companies. We talked to designers, to engineers, to product managers. And there seems to be a part in the process where things do not seem to be working. The product manager eventually becomes a problem, and the component of translating the requirement into practical implementation plans is really, really late. This not only compromises innovation, it's also costing several millions of dollars to companies that need to delay the product launches. We need to think that there should be a better way. So I actually believe there could be a better way.
Yeah, and the solution is simple. The solution is Product Plan AI. It really comes down to two things. With AI suggestions for a product plan, work items to implement your project, you'll be able to get through that planning phase a lot faster. And with AI editing tools for that product plan, you'll be able to create much higher quality product plans as well. And I believe you have a demo now.
Yes, so here we have our demo. A PM would start by uploading a PRD, and our tool would process it and allow you to start by generating epics. Here you have for the specific project some sample epics, and from that you can go on to generate stories as well as tasks and subtasks right down the hierarchy, and this thing would just organize them for you in this way. We also have our edit functionalities like this, where you could just manually go in or use our magic edit that takes in a prompt and all of the context of the hierarchy, plus the PRD to give you some suggestions for the update. You can either reject or accept. Here, I'll just accept to show you. And we have a similar feature in order to add items as well, which is our magic create. Here, just skip to show you what it would look like. And then finally, after going through the whole process, you could just simply export the plan to a CSV that easily plugs into other platforms.
Sweet. So that should have given you a good sense for how this works. We're breaking it down a little bit more here. You can see we're handing your product requirement document to the LLM, using it to extract epics. It's specifically thinking about how can I break this into the most abstract high-level tasks. Then it breaks it down into more specific, less abstract, more actionable items as it goes down the chain. And it gives all the parent tasks as context for when it's creating those lower work items. And as we demonstrated as well, there's the magic edit and create feature where you can say, hey, give me an epic that adds monetization, or make this work item a little bit more specific to the engineering team, not the design team. And just with big suggestions like that, our models will be able to give you a revision or suggest you a new work item that fits that request.
And we're confident that we're the greatest team to solve this problem because we have really experienced this space from many different standpoints. Our team is complementary and also has very different backgrounds. For example, Laura and Luciano, they were software engineers at a large organization. They really experienced how painful it is to really have awful product management. Many times I was even the bottleneck as a product manager. And also Whaley and Jannink had vast experience in researching in AI and knowing how to best leverage LLMs to solve this kind of complex problems. We also acknowledge that there are many players trying to solve for this issue. However, we believe that this is a better solution because of many reasons. Unlike, for example, Atlassian that owns Jira, this solution is built from the ground up to solve this issue. It's not a plugin on top of another platform. In a very similar way, other products like Index or OpenFlow are not fully integrated into the product management existing workflow, which is something we're getting to. So we really invite all of you to try our demo. You can scan it in here. We are offering in there also some sample PRDs, or you can create an PRD and try it. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, the next team up are the EPAL MACI team, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. We're on Zoom, so I need to probably.
Oh, this is the outdated slide.
Yeah. Oh, is this the wrong slide?
This is refresh.
Oh, refresh it. Okay. Refresh.
Yes. Yes. Everyone, and we are going to present SagaLLM. I think Jen, we had the same advisor. When I mentioned Saga, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. So the reason we are presenting our endeavor is the following. The current LLM suffers from quite a few problems. If you are not doing something serious, you haven't encountered the problems yet. The first problem is the context narrowing. If you have a long context, information will be dropped randomly. And this has been validated by a lot of applications. And when we are trying to book, for example, a travel situation, we specify 10 constraints. But in the beginning, all constraints are observed. But in the middle, 1 or 2 get dropped. And the consequence is very there. And when we do investment kind of prediction, stock prediction, we are ordering the values, right? Today's value, yesterday, whatever, predict the next day. But sometimes you can just randomly order the stock values. And that will make your predictor just totally messed up. And also, it doesn't have common sense, persistent common sense. So you say, I want to book a flight from one place to another. I land at 1 p.m. And so you schedule someone to pick me up at 1 p.m. I say, no, I have to walk to the terminal, pick up my luggage, right? So sometimes it will say, no time for you to pick up your luggage. And sometimes it will allocate you 60 minutes. And this is really random in different instances. So it's not reliable. And therefore, we definitely need to have some kind sort of verification, but validation. But unfortunately, it doesn't work because validation, we know the Gödel theorem tells us very clearly, a formal system cannot validate itself. So we have to ask another LLM to validate you and give another LLM the constraints. I think most of us just totally miss the point, okay? But we have lots of experience about that situation. So don't explore. Yeah, it's okay. So finally, lacking transaction guarantees. You know what is transaction, okay? So if you already book a hotel, then you cannot book a flight. You have to do compensation. So what we are doing is, this is pretty straightforward. Give us the data. We are going to automatically generating the entire multi-agent system for you. You don't need to code anything. Given the data, we will be defining the states, we defining the dependencies, and we generate a plan, we do validation. So this is a very simple example traveling. I will be showing you on the poster. And this is our engine in the backend. Again, the details will be shown on the poster. And we will give you the workflow. Workflow not only including all the nodes, dependency agents, but also compensation, right? If you fail the hotel booking, you have to probably roll back your flight reservation. And in our benchmark arsenals, we already have a lot of different applications, including supply chain management. And today, Gloria is going to present the stock market prediction.
Thank you. As we said, that our application is not only based on the research, but also more importantly, we can actually predict the stock of the price. And this is just an example. And the first is that you can create your own agent after you log into the page. And then you can select, for example, the API as well as the function you want to test. And also you can select different models, like which I think it is like during the current applications, like and also I think yeah, after that you can create your own agent, specify the task and also specifications name and also the features you want to these agents to have. For example, if we click on the for example, machine learning ability and also planning ability as well as the transaction abilities, and we will generate a financial agent. And for example, if you click on the OpenAI or DeepSeek, it will only tell you that our information is based on the 2024, and we do not have any real-time data for the stock. So this is why our approach actually perform better than DeepSeek as well as OpenAI. And also this, the first function, some of the function is the, for example, risk analysis, and you can analyze the risk of a company. And also you can, for example, if we predict today's price of Apple, like you can check that the current price of Apple today is actually below 210. So for this model, we can actually predict it with the 0.7 confidence scores. And also we have tested, and the overall accuracy has been approached to the 90%. And also, if you want to search the long-term stock price prediction, it will actually give you a total different prediction. So if you want to try our models, like you can meet us in the poster session. And also, like we have done a SWOT analysis, like the current, I think a very good approach is the Manus and also DeepSeek. Like our approach have some better functionalities compared to some of the reasoning and also calculation ability. And yeah, thanks for listening. And also, if you have any question, please come to our poster session. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Next team up, we got Euclid.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Okay, hi everyone. We're developing Euclid, a revolutionary learning platform to transform how students learn STEM. So basically, we're Cursor for STEM education. Oh, I think the slides aren't updated. So we've really focused on making the user experience in Euclid great. So first, students can upload any homework assignment as a PDF, and the AI will parse both text and images into separated problems. Second, students can use voice input to ask questions, receiving guided hints from the AI, which is fine-tuned to help students actually learn the material instead of doing their homework for them. And third, Euclid displays the homework problem, AI chat history, and the students work on a single screen, providing a much better user experience compared to copy and pasting in ChatGPT. And finally, students can export their homework very easily with just a single click. So we think that these features will really help streamline the math learning process and help students get their homework done faster.
So let's compare Euclid to existing solutions on the market. MOOCs and note-taking apps often have poor or tacked-on AI integrations, lacking true personalization and comprehensive learning features. And schools and universities are not scalable due to professors and TAs having limited time, restriction, personalized attention, and accessibility. LLMs suffer from poor user experience, such as the need for constant copy-pasting and not memorizing your past learning progress. Now I have two questions for you. How many students have worked on their homework problems in the past month? So, okay.
Lots of people?
Yeah.
See, lots of hands.
And how many students have finished their homework and then logged on to another platform to find extra problems to solve?
0 people. Students are busy.
Yeah, so that most new AI learning platforms create extra work for students, whereas with Euclid, we integrate seamlessly with the students' existing assignments.
We're also using conversations between the AI tutor and students to do reinforcement learning. Since LLMs are inherently stochastic, sometimes the AI will teach well, and sometimes it will teach poorly. However, if we can reward the tutor whenever it successfully teaches a student to solve a hard math problem, we think the LLM will become a really great teacher given enough data. So we think this is a key differentiator that separates from other AI applications that are essentially just ChatGPT wrappers. We've also been talking to a lot of customers. As of today, we've spoken with 3 international schools in China as potential beta testers for our app. We've also built a backend metrics system to monitor how often students are querying the app to more accurately estimate our token costs. We expect students who use the app on an average of 1 hour per day and asking an average of 3 questions per minute to cost around $1 per month using DeepSeek R1. And we think this price is going to go down by 10x in the next 12 months. So we think we can turn a profit by charging around $5 to $10 as our monthly subscription.
So since the start of this quarter, it's just been Mike and me in this class working on this project. But along the way, we've attracted many enthusiastic collaborators who believe in our vision. For example, Louise, she's a junior in math and CS. She solves a lot of math problems on her iPad. Now she's joined us as our product designer. And Wen Chao, she's a RL researcher. She finds this problem so exciting that she decided to jump in to contribute. And Ben is a data science master student. We've been blown away by how many students are interested in our project. And clearly this problem resonates with students' real needs.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
So next up, we got TechPack.ai.
The master switch. Yeah. Okay, hi guys. We are TechPack.ai, and we help fashion brands to create tech packs in minutes, not hours. Yes. You have not reloaded the page. Let's do that. And it's done. There we go. Super. Thank you. This is the team. Nico has some experience from previous startups. John has some experience from NASA and some research at Caltech. I'm William, and I have some experience at automating things at the Central Bank of Sweden. Yeah. And so let's go through some reminders, because everybody does not probably know what a tech pack is and how that works. And tech packs is technical specification sheets that fashion brands use to be able to communicate their designs and ideas to manufacturers to prototype and build their creative clothes. So first, you take your garment and you try to specify everything that's interesting, and this can take you to between 10 to 12 hours per tech pack. And it's very manual and repetitive, as you might not get everything in correctly the first draft, so you might have to go back and edit it again. It's very fragmented workflow, and it has a risk of a lot of miscommunication. Yeah. So that's what we created, TechPack.ai, which helps you automate this process and be like a copilot for you. So how it works is you first upload your design files and any specifications that you want for it to create the tech pack and for the garment you're trying to create. Then you chat with the copilot and work with it to be able to come forward to a design that you like. It generates then a tech pack with one click instead of spending hours on trying to modify it working in an old Excel. You can redefine anything you want to change with just chat with it and then press the button for it. Then you can save it and then save a lot of time.
This is very beneficial as it increases the speed a lot. It reduces error, and it works by, it's helpful by, it enables you to go back and forth and edit it again and again. As said, there's a lot of communication back and forth between the manufacturers and the brands. So you will iterate on this prototype and on this specific TechPack a lot, and that's going to take even more hours. Yeah, and John will show us the demo.
Yes, so let's jump into a quick demo. So here we begin by just uploading our details, so including the name of the project, some quick description, and then most relevant, the illustration and the reference images that we need to create the TechPack. So we upload those in via our interface, and then we go over to the chat copilot. And then here it's gonna ask us for some additional details. So here we give the brand name and also the designer name. We input that, and we wait for a while for it to generate the TechPack for us. And then once it does that, it fills kind of all this information, gives a nice description. And then I just want to quickly pause here. Another thing that we did in our algorithm is that, is that we have this kind of computer vision approach where, we detect these relevant key points. So for each image, we have these kind of computer algorithms that can detect some relevant points in the image, and then we make a list of all of the descriptions, linking those to the key points. So now, if you just jump forward, so it kind of fills out this, it creates this entire TechPack, and then if you're not satisfied with that, you can give it some more feedback just by typing in chat. So here we want a lighter color with the shade of beige, and then I also add some additional comments. I'm just going to skip forward here for the sake of time. But we want to kind of, so we want to add this additional comments and also add some contact information about myself, which includes my email and also my phone number. So if we just look at the TechPack, it's changed the color. It also, if you just scroll down there, it's going to add some additional details, contact information, and also add this comment about at the beginning or at the end. And then we can also go to this editor, which can see the progress at the same time.
All right. So you probably ask yourself, so why is this important right now? And we can basically divide this into two parts. The first part is the brand side, and the other part is the market side. So brands are under a lot of pressure to move faster, because you all know Shein and all of those like fast fashion brands. They currently need about 2 weeks in order to produce fashion. On the other hand, normal brands need several months. So brands really need to speed up their process. They also need to save costs because everything is getting more expensive and they don't want to save margins. And last but not least, they just need ways to improve their processes because until now they're super slow, super manual, and they know that they should improve something, they just don't know how. On the other hand, we have the market. So first of all, with rising LLM and AI capabilities, we're now able to help them, for example, with generating text. Then the cool thing is in this market, there's no competition yet that is like direct competition. So no company right now helps brands to create AI tag packs. And last but not least, the market is getting towards, it's like shifting more and more towards AI. So you also see this in venture capital, of course. The next cool thing is the market is actually huge. So fashion right now has a ton of 1.84 trillion US dollars, which is more than 1.6% of the global GDP. Okay, I don't really sure. And like of the global market. And our sum, we think, is 0.5% of that because we try to target medium-sized companies, mostly in the US and Europe. And with a sum which should be around 6% in the beginning, we're now able to get up to 552 million US dollars as a market. And yeah, thank you very much. If you have any more questions, feel free to approach us about that. Thanks.
Okay, coming final stretch here. So we got next up is Verbo.
Yeah. That's okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Matthias, and I'm working on building Verbo. We're trying to measure skills, well, not just by resumes, but using AI in technical interviews. So what's the problem? 75% of recruiters say they are struggling to find skilled talent. And 63% say they're receiving too many unqualified candidates, and that is their top challenge. And let's be honest, technical skills assessments are bad. We've all faced them. Some of them, the self-reported assessment, multiple choice questions, they're highly scalable. You can send that to many candidates, but they're low fidelity. They're self-reported. Many people are cheating on them. On the other side, we have the low skill solution that's technical interviews, where it's just you with a technical person that's asking questions, but that's high fidelity, I guess, but then it's also low scale. At Verbo, we're trying to position at the intersection of high scalability and also high fidelity using AI. We think that the future of hiring is powered by AI and not intuition. So recruiters should create technical cases easily, and candidates should test their skills beyond just their resumes. So how does it work? Well, everything starts with the recruiter. You can just paste a job description or choose one of the predefined jobs, the job descriptions. The AI does the job of extracting the relevant skills that the job description is mentioning. Then the recruiter can just edit that, add some other skills, just tailor it to the job description that he wants. And the AI takes that and creates a full assignment, a full technical case with data, with questions. Then the recruiter can go and assess the questions, maybe add one more or remove some of the questions, and then just create the position. And with the position created, the recruiter can copy the link and share that link with the candidates. So that's on the recruiter side. What do the candidates see? They get in this welcome page, they sign in, and they're immediately told to let the AI see their screens, also hear the audio of their technical case. And then they just start writing and thinking out loud about the questions, and everything's being recorded. So they have the context of the case, they have the questions and maybe some notes they can take. Everything's being recorded. And then after the technical interview, the AI watches the video, hears what the applicant said, sees what the applicant wrote, and then analyzes the technical case. At the end, the candidate can see a small assessment review where he can see what the AI has to say about the strengths and the areas for improvements. He can see the videos and also a summary of the competencies assessed. And the recruiter can also go and see everything that the candidate said. Also, every competency is being assessed using a rubric in a level from 1 to 5. The AI is also giving evidence, so there's timestamps from where the candidate said something or wrote something. And there's this summary about the skills being assessed. And lastly, there's this pool of talent being created thanks to the AI. So this is the team, it's just me. I've done some edtech in the past. I'm doing my master's in education data science currently, and I'm also doing some ML research at an edtech and SF. And I think that the future of hiring is powered by AI, not intuition. Thank you. You can try Verbo at that URL.
Okay, we got a couple more to go. So we got next up, talk to me. Yeah, just go. That's like what is it?
AI paragraphs.
Okay, got it. Perfect.
Our presentation has audio, by the way. Is that gonna?
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll control the volume over there. So here.
All right, hi everyone. We are building Talk to Me. I want you guys to look up from your laptop for a second. Raise your hand if you've ever considered in your life going to therapy. Just thought about it.
If you're not raising your hand, you go to Stanford, you're lying. All right, now keep your hands raised. How many of you have actually gone to therapy? All right, I've seen some hands drop. So why is that? Well, as time goes on, therapy seems to be becoming more and more inaccessible because therapists are dropping out of insurance networks. It's just more profitable that way. And as a result, there are a lot of people who want mental health care, but can't actually get it. I was actually in this bucket a few weeks ago. I was like looking for therapists, and a lot of them were out of network, or they had literally no appointments, or the fees were just insane. So I did what anyone would do. I wrote a system prompt in ChatGPT and then just started talking to that. Don't judge me. And was it an AI therapist? No. But was it bad? Surprisingly not. And people agree with me. AI therapists have grown in popularity because of their anonymity, accessibility, and affordability. And it really begs the question of AI therapists can't really replace human therapists yet. I mean, that's a little dystopian. Let's not talk about that. But what if we can get close enough, considering all of the existing barriers that exist for therapy?
Introducing Talk to Me. So Talk to Me is a product that we built that is affordable and accessible, and it also provides personalized on-demand mental health support.
So here we'll look at a demo. You can talk to our therapist 24/7 through our chat UI, or if you prefer a more natural conversation, you can also use voice mode.
What would you like to talk about?
My boss at work has really been stressing me out.
I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling stressed by your boss. Can you share a bit more about what's been happening with your boss that's causing you this stress?
For Talk to Me, we're really prioritizing both personalization and data privacy. So our Save Chat feature allows you to decide what information you want our agent to have and what you don't want it to have. In that conversation, I was just talking about having some stress in school, and you'll see that in the new session, it actually starts the conversation with that context. Something else that we're also using to improve personalization is agent preferences. So up here on your screen, I'm going to talk about a long distance relationship with someone named Ashley, and you'll see that when I talk about it, the agent actually knows that without having a prior conversation.
What would you like to talk about?
About Ashley, she's just been a little distant lately.
I get that. Long distance can definitely bring up some challenges, can it? What do you think might be contributing to her feeling distant?
The last thing we'll just show is that when you end a conversation, Talk to Me will also set up a future appointment, and you can download it and integrate it with your calendar. And this is us helping you be consistent with your mental health journey as you would in a normal therapy journey. So Talk to Me is giving you features that you have and features that maybe you wish you had with traditional therapy, all at an affordable price. And honestly, it's a solution that's just asking to be built. Back in 2023, there were already tens of millions of people looking for mental health treatment. Just last year, the US telehealth market was at 42.5 billion, and on a global scale, it's over 10x that. In terms of how we're going to scale our company, our first step is to continue beta testing with high schoolers and college students, who are definitely one of our main demographics. Once we feel like our product is good enough, we move on to step 2 of releasing the product to the general public so anyone can use it. And then lastly, we really hope to eventually partner with therapists, medical institutions, et cetera, so we can make Talk to Me an even more accessible and widely known tool.
Cool. Let me highlight how Talk to Me currently stands in the mental health space. So we and Uper are popular AI therapy alternatives right now. However, they're limited by their text-only interfaces and their rule-based conversations. Traditional therapy is great because it's accessible and it's personalized. However, it lacks on-demand convenience and affordability. Talk to Me's unique advantage lies in the fact that it provides the whole complete package. It's on demand, it's very convenient, it's accessible, and you can talk to it through voice. It's very affordable and offers personalization and customization.
Awesome. So the team building this is 4 Stanford master students. We all have technical ability and internships at large tech companies, et cetera. But what's also important is that we belong to the primary demographic of the problem we're trying to solve. So we know exactly what the solution should look like. As the quarter has gone on, we've done some beta testing with some friends and family, and based on these fantastic quotes, such as, "It's a little less weird than I thought it'd be, and it's actually kind of good," we think our solution is really headed somewhere. So that's Talk to Me. We are focusing on building a future where anyone, anywhere can get therapy anytime. So if you're interested in that, come and talk to us after.
So Yeah, and so I think that's the last of our teams that are presenting today. Yeah, so just to wrap up, I mean, this was it was an amazing experience even from our core staff as well, like in terms of teaching this class and like helping all the students and projects going through this. I mean, as you saw, like there's a huge amount of work that went into like all of these, and I mean, many of these, to be honest, I mean, I've seen startup companies that have raised millions of dollars that I have actually made less progress than some of the ones that the groups in this class. So yeah. So we without any more delay, I guess like let's give a big round of applause to all the teams. Yeah. And teams will be outside. There's posters, there's some posters. Some will be happy to give you guys demos of their products. And so hope you get a chance to just walk around. And then even if you're on teams, like go, I know that sometimes the teams didn't get a chance to like interact with the other teams as much like during the class. This is your chance because this is as the last day of class. But anyway, thanks everyone for coming.
And it's been a privilege.
Yes. Thank you. Cool. Thanks everyone online. We're gonna stop the Zoom. Bye.